You wake up. No buzzing. No plans. No messages lighting up your screen. Just quiet. Just you. That calm feels strange, almost too quiet. Then it hits, that small worry, that tight feeling in your chest. Not a need for company, but a need for proof that you matter to someone. That's when most men panic. They grab their phones. They message someone they shouldn't. They scroll through apps just to feel connected. Because the world taught you that quiet means something's wrong. If no woman texts, if no friend calls, maybe you are behind. Maybe you are unwanted. Maybe you are failing. But what if silence isn't a punishment? What if it's a doorway, one most men are too scared to walk through? The world taught you to fear being alone. But no one ever told you what happens when you lean into it. When you stop running from the quiet and finally sit with it. Here's the truth. A man who chooses to be alone, not because he has to, but because he wants to, is not weak. He's strong. Because he's building something inside that no one else can see. Something solid. Something unshakable. This message isn't for every man. It's for the ones tired of being picked last. Tired of pretending to fit in. Tired of changing themselves to please others. It's for the man who's done running and ready to rise. In a world full of noise and attention seeking, the man who chooses peace becomes unforgettable. This isn't being alone, it's getting yourself back. Too many men go from woman to woman, job to job, shallow friendship to shallow friendship. Chasing praise like it's air. But when do you stop and ask? What happens if I stop chasing and just sit with myself? What happens is change. Your mind gets sharper. Your voice grows deeper. Your standards rise. Here's the twist. The moment you stop needing others to see your value, that's when they finally do. Write this in the comments. I choose being alone to grow stronger. Not because it sounds good, but because I'm done hiding. I'm ready to stop chasing and start becoming. This is your turning point. Own it. Let's begin. 1. The fear of silence. You sit in the dark. No messages. No plans. No one asking for your time. Just the sound of your breath, and something heavier, your thoughts. Most men aren't scared of being alone. They're scared of what being alone shows them. Not the lack of people, but the truth that comes with silence. Silence isn't empty. It's honest. It doesn't yell. It doesn't blame you. It just opens the door. To regrets you buried. To choices you delayed. To the version of yourself you promised to become but never did. Suddenly, they all show up. Uninvited. Raw. That girl who left. That job you didn't go for. That promise you broke when no one was watching. You want to look away. But now, there's nothing to hide behind. No chat to escape into. No relationship to lose yourself in. No act to play. Just you. And the truth you've been running from for years. Here comes the real question. Will you finally face it or run again? That's why most men keep moving. From woman to woman. From goal to goal. From one screen to the next. Not to build something, but to escape something. Not escaping her. Not escaping them. Escaping themselves. Because silence takes off the mask. And when that happens, you either fall apart or wake up. At first, Silence is painful. It makes your chest feel tight. It repeats every insecurity louder than any voice. You are not enough. You'll always be forgotten. Nothing you do matters. But if you stay, if you breathe through it, something changes. You start to realize you are still here, still breathing, still able. And those thoughts, they are not you. They are echoes, old stories. They knock at your door, but you don't have to let them in. That's when real clarity comes. No fireworks, just a quiet truth. You are not your past, not your regrets, not the girl who left, not the guy who failed. You are the one who stayed, the one who didn't flinch, the one who sat in the fire and didn't look away. That's rare. That's powerful. That's stoic. Growth doesn't begin at the gym. Not in books. Not in podcasts or self-help videos. It starts in stillness. It starts when you finally decide you are worth facing. You sit in the storm. Let it roar. Let it twist. Let it tear apart every false idea you've held. And you stay. You don't fill the silence. You let it be. And by doing that, you take back what most men never even touch. Control of yourself. From that quiet, a new voice rises. Not loud, but strong. Not perfect, but real. And when you move again, you move with purpose. Your words hit harder. Your presence feels calm and grounded. Not because you changed the world, but because you finally came home to yourself. To approval detox. Most men are hooked on something they don't even see. Not alcohol. Not drugs. Not gambling. Something more hidden. Approval. They check their phones first thing in the morning. Not for real news, but to see if someone noticed them. Did she reply? Did they like my post? Did anyone care? It seems harmless, but it's not. It's neediness wearing a mask called connection. It's dependence dressed up like normal life. What makes it dangerous is no one talks about it. There's no rehab. No wake-up call. But it eats away at you slowly. It doesn't just change what you do. It changes who you think you are. When you crave approval, you say yes when you want to say no. You laugh at jokes you don't find funny. You avoid silence. You avoid honesty. You avoid standing alone. All just to avoid being rejected. You think you are playing it safe. But really you are playing it small. You trade your voice for comfort. Your truth for applause. Your freedom for being liked. And over time, that need to be liked becomes a prison. You decorate it with compliments. But deep down, you know you are stuck. You are living someone else's version of you. Here's the truth. Approval is like a drug. It feels good for a second, then fades. And like all drugs, it makes you want more. More likes. More attention. More yes. But then you burn out. Not because you are weak, but because the mask got too heavy. That's when you face a choice. The harder but realer path. The approval detox. It starts by letting go. You stop checking your phone every 5 minutes. You stop changing your voice to fit the room. You ask real questions. Am I doing this because I believe in it or because I want to be liked? That one question, it changes everything. You stop chasing fast approval. You stop saying sorry for having boundaries. You stop explaining yourself to people who were never really listening. At first, it hurts. Feels like withdrawal. You'll hear the voices. What if they don't like me anymore? But you sit with it. You breathe through it. You let it sharpen you. Then something new shows up. Your real voice. Not loud. Not fake. But solid. Unshakable. The voice you buried under years of trying to fit in. The voice that speaks not to get attention, but because it has something real to say. And slowly, you change. You stop texting just to feel relevant. You stop laughing when nothing's funny. You start protecting your time, your peace, your truth. And people notice. They feel something's different. Your presence has weight. Your eyes are steady. You don't need attention. You carry it. That's the twist. When you stop trying to be seen, you become impossible to ignore. Because men who chase approval disappear into the crowd. But men who choose themselves, they stand out. Not because they're loud, but because they're aligned. They know what they believe. They know what they won't accept. And they know who they are, even when no one's watching. That kind of man. People remember him. Not because he begged for respect, but because he earned it through silence and self-truth. Yes, approval detox is messy. You'll lose fake friends. Lose fake smiles. Lose temporary praise. But what you gain is everything. You gain respect not demanded but natural. You gain peace not by hiding but by standing strong. You gain power not by control but by being clear on who you are. So ask yourself, are you still living to be liked? Still changing who you are to keep others happy? Or are you finally ready to choose you? Because once you really do, something huge shifts. You stop chasing. You stop performing. You stop apologizing. You just become. And the world, it watches. 3. Clarity through solitude. There comes a time in every man's life when the noise stops. No more constant messages. No more busy plans. Just silence. Not the kind that feels lonely, but the kind that feels real. Still. And in that quiet moment, something powerful happens. For the first time in a long time, the mental fog clears. Not because the world got easier, but because you stepped away from it. You turned down the volume on other people's opinions, the pressure to always be on, the fear of being alone. And finally, you could hear the one voice that really mattered. Your own. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's healing. It's getting back to your true self. You start removing everything that's not really you. The fake goals. The outside expectations. The roles you were playing to fit in. In the middle of chaos, you are always reacting. Trying to keep up. Trying to be liked. But in solitude, you slow down. You stop reacting and start observing. You begin to ask better questions. What do I want? What makes me feel alive? What drains me? Who do I turn into around certain people? And do I even like that version of me? Solitude gives you the space to answer. Without pressure. Without fake smiles. Without pretending. You sit with the truth. You feel what you've been avoiding. You breathe through the discomfort. And slowly, the mirror clears. You stop saying I'm fine when you are not. You stop forcing friendships that feel fake. You stop lying to yourself just to feel accepted. And then you start to live aligned. Not perfect. Not polished. But honest. You say no when something isn't right. And you don't feel bad about it. You protect your space. Not because you are distant, but because you are finally being careful. With your energy, you cut ties. Not from anger, but from clarity. You realize your time is sacred. Your peace is power. And your truth doesn't need permission. Solitude clears your mind. And it sharpens your vision. You stop waking up just to get through the day. You wake up with purpose. Your habits match your goals. Your friends match your values. Your life becomes a mirror of the man you were meant to be. You no longer explain your choices to people who will never get it anyway. You don't need to fight for understanding, because your life now speaks for itself. You are not pulled into drama. You are not fooled by fake praise. You are not shaken by outside noise. You are rooted. And because you are rooted, you are unshakable. Even if people walk away, you stay steady. Because now, you are not living for them. You are living for you. That's the real gift of solitude. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you real. It burns off the lies. It strips away what doesn't belong. And what's left? A man with peace in his chest and purpose in his step. He doesn't speak to impress. He speaks because what he says matters. He doesn't chase. He builds. And he doesn't need to be understood, because he finally understands himself. So if your life feels quiet right now, don't be afraid. That silence isn't empty. It's a signal, an invitation. Your life is asking you to slow down and listen. You don't need more likes, more women, more texts, or more noise. You need more stillness, more moments where you sit alone and meet the man you've ignored for too long. Yourself. The man who walks alone isn't lost. He's rebuilding. He's not running from the world. He's returning to his center. He's refining. He's becoming clear. And once he chooses himself, he no longer chases opportunity. Opportunity finds him. That's not magic. That's mastery. If your life feels quiet right now, don't panic. That silence doesn't mean something is wrong. It means something is beginning. It's not emptiness. It's an invitation. A call to stop running, to stop hiding, and finally listen to yourself. You don't need more attention. You don't need more likes, more replies, more parties, or more people. You need more stillness, more moments of peace, more time alone. Not to escape the world, but to reconnect with the man you truly are. Too many men move from woman to woman, job to job, fake friend to fake friend, chasing approval like it's air. But real power comes when you stop chasing and start sitting with yourself. That's where the change begins. The man who walks alone isn't broken. He's rebuilding. He's not hiding. He's growing stronger. more focused, more honest, more himself. He doesn't move like someone hoping to be chosen. He moves like someone who already chose himself. And when you become that man, everything changes. The right people stay. The wrong ones fade. And new opportunities find you naturally. Not because you forced them, but because you finally became ready. That's not luck. That's not magic. That's mastery. So if this message speaks to something deep inside you, don't just scroll past it. Do something different. Answer this. White right pointing backhand index. What's one distraction you are ready to let go of today? Type it in the comments. Not for likes. Not for show. But for you. Because maybe this isn't just another post. Maybe it's your turning point. And if you are ready to stop chasing noise, to stop trying to impress people who don't matter, and start building a life that's real, grounded, and powerful, then subscribe. Not for popularity, but for clarity, discipline, and quiet strength. Because here, at Stoic Spirit, we are not building boys who need approval. We are creating men who lead from the inside out.